for having the vision to bring us together, not just to gather like this, but to learn from each other how to be better Canadians. Because I think that's what we're doing here. I think we've already had teachings, even just in the prayers that we heard to help open this event. And what really struck with me was when Peter was ringing the bell and we all had our eyes closed and we were all silent, there were still two sounds you could hear. One that keeps me up at night, and that's the city, because the city never stops. It's where we all come together. It's where we either make this work or don't make it work. So we all have a role in that. But the other sound that I heard that really got me thinking was kids playing on the playground, because they didn't hear Peter ask very nicely for everyone to be quiet. So they did what kids do, which is play with each other, even if they've never met the person before. And they do so without judgment. And I think back to a time when I was 3 years old, and I was at a YMCA daycare, and it was a really, really diverse daycare. I was so fortunate to have people from almost every walk of life we find in Edmonton in my class. And my best friend, and I just wrote about this in a piece a little while ago, so forgive me if you've heard this already, but my best friend was another 3-year-old little boy named Carl. And a few years later, maybe 1 year, maybe 2, I don't remember exactly when, I suddenly understood that Carl was black. But when we were 3, he was just Carl. So somewhere along the line, somebody taught me that Carl was different. But when I was a kid, when I started out, I had nothing but love. Somebody taught me fear. Somebody taught me difference. Somebody taught me, well, hopefully not hate, but people are taught that. And it comes from fear and it comes from difference. And we can either learn that from each other, or we can teach each other to love. Teach each other to share this city, which never stops, getting better or worse, depending on what each one of us is doing, the difference we make. So I want to ask you to do 2 things after today. I want you to learn lots today and come together, but I want you to do 2 things after this. I want you to choose every day whether you're going to be afraid or whether you're going to love people. It's actually a pretty easy choice, and it defines whether you think the world is a big, scary place full of people you can't trust, or a small and beautiful place where people working together can solve complicated problems like racism, end homelessness, bring everyone into an uplifting and inclusive city. That's what our council wants to do, but we can't do it, the 13 of us alone. We need you to choose to work together with us. And I want you to do one other thing, which is if somebody in your community, even casually, is spreading hate, spreading fear, saying something that's even just a little bit inappropriate, using an inappropriate word to describe somebody from another culture or somebody's religious beliefs, make it awkward for them. Stand up to them. Say that's not correct, that's not fair, that's not right, that's not loving. And especially for the kids. You guys have such a strong voice, and that's really why I'm so grateful to the organizers here for bringing not only all of us together, but especially young people, because you can carry that message so much more powerfully than grown-ups. So please help us build together the kind of city that can be a light to the world. I think Canada has all the right ingredients, and looking around this park today, I know Edmonton has all of the right love from all of these different groups and all of these different cultures and all of these different organizations to really make the world that smaller, friendlier, happier, more loving place. That's what a global fusion would look like to me. And so I'm just so grateful to everyone who's put time into making today possible, and humbled to be invited to say a few words. Thank you so much.